Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to my geography channel, grade 12. We are now preparing for final examinations. I just thought we should just start a bit of revision with you guys. Those who are new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, share the channel, and enjoy yourself. Grade 12, I wish you all the best in your examinations, and I hope you are really preparing for this examination. Right, so I'm going to start with revision on an exemplar paper. It's a 2014 paper. I know already the structure has changed, so we know that the paper 1 will be climatology and geomorphology, and paper 2 will be looking at settlement geography and economic geography, but still we can just use the same questions as we prepare for our examination. And most of the time why I'm looking at exemplar paper is that the exemplar paper is where most of our questions usually originate from. Right, so we're going to look at question 1, which would be part of your climatology and geomorphology. Right, so the first question there says, answer the following questions based on a weather station model. This is a weather station model, as you can see. You should know that temperature is always indicated on the left hand side on top. At the bottom, the figure there shows dew point temperature, and always in between the temperature and the dew point temperature we always have a precipitation symbol. Now let's answer the questions there. Can you write down the air temperature of the weather station? I think I've already elaborated for you there. It's 24 degrees Celsius. From which direction is the wind blowing? The wind direction is shown by this. This is the indication that shows wind direction, and it is pointing to east of northeast, so it's east of northeast here. Now, what is the wind in knots? The wind in knots here is 10 knots because it's a longer feather. If it is a longer feather, it represents 10 knots. If it is a shorter feather, you should know that it will represent 5 knots. Now, question 1.14, does the cloud cover indicate overcast or clear skies? Now here, our cloud cover is shaded. It's shaded throughout, so it indicates overcast skies. If it is not shaded, it would indicate clear skies. Now name the precipitation shown on the weather station model. Precipitation shown on the weather station model is a dot that is shaded there, which indicates rain. Now write down the dew point temperature at the weather station model. I said the dew point temperature will always be at the bottom, so it's 21 degrees Celsius. 1.17, is the probability of rain high or low on this weather station? We said the cloud cover is overcast, so it means rainfall probability is very high. Right, so the next question there is question 1.2, and it says we must study drainage patterns. So we go to figure 1.2. These are the drainage patterns that we are supposed to study. Now 1.21 asks which one resembles branches of a tree. The one that resembles branches of a tree is the dendritic pattern. 1.22, which one forms on rocks that have many joints and faults? The drainage pattern that usually forms when there are many joints and faults is the rectangular pattern. The main stream has 90 degrees angles along its course. The one that we usually has streams bending at 90 degrees again is the rectangular drainage pattern. 1 to 4. This drainage pattern forms on rocks that have a uniform resistance to erosion. This one is the dendritic drainage pattern. 1 to 5. Streams flow away from a central point. When streams flow away from a central point, they form the radial. They are flowing from a central point, so it means in here there is a upland area, so they're flowing from away from a central point there. The tributaries join the main stream at acute angles. It is the dendritic drainage pattern. Question 1.3 now looks at the tropical cyclone there. So we'll be looking at tropical cyclone Haruna. And it says tropical cyclone Haruna developed in the Mozambique Channel, and that was on the 18th February 2013. It reached a peak wind speed of 150 kilometers per hour. It weakened significantly when it reached land, where a previous system had already flooded the land. When Haruna arrived, 7,402 houses were destroyed, rice and maize crops were damaged, 26 were killed, 127 injured, and there was an outbreak of diseases after the tropical cyclone dissipated. And it dissipated on 24 February 2013. So this is the tropical cyclone. And there at A, we can actually see the eye. So question 1.31 says, name the center of the tropical cyclone labeled A, and I've already given you the answer. This is the eye of the storm. 132. State the direction in which the clouds are turning or rotating around the eye. They are rotating, as you can see, in a clockwise direction. What is the lifespan? We meaning the time existence of tropical cyclone Haruna. Tropical cyclone Haruna started from the 18th of February to the 24th of February, and if we count those days, the answer will give us 7 days. Now, give one reason why tropical cyclone Haruna weakened over Madagascar. I have skipped an answer, sorry. 1.34 says, how many tropical cyclones, including Haruna, have Mozambique already experienced for this season? Haruna, we know that when you are calculating your how many tropical cyclones have occurred, tropical cyclones are named alphabetically. So A to H, including Haruna, it will give us 8 tropical cyclones. Now, can you give a reason why tropical cyclone Haruna weakened when it moved over Madagascar? We know with tropical cyclones, because they have a lot of energy when they're in the ocean, when they reach the land, they lose moisture, and also there are differences in friction between the sea and the land. So they start to dissipate when they reach the land because of frictional differences, and 2, the source of energy has been cut off. Remember, they get their energy from the warm air that is over the oceans. Now 1.36 says, can you evaluate why the impact of a tropical cyclone is more severe in a country like Mozambique than in a developed country? First of all, you should know that Mozambique is a developing country, so it has fewer resources to deal with tropical cyclones. And if it has fewer resources to deal with tropical cyclones, it means their early warning systems are not always effective as those in the developed countries. Also, lack of media coverage to inform people about the dangers associated with tropical cyclones. Disaster management policies and techniques are not so sophisticated or might not be in place in the developing country. Most of their houses are also poorly built, so you find that there's loss of lives. And most people don't even know what are tropical cyclones and their impacts. People are not informed about stocking up necessities. There's also lack of evacuation services and also poor health facilities to help those that are injured and also to save lives. So this can also affect people in Mozambique. Right, now question 1.4 looks at the microclimate of the city. So let's look at figure 1.4. This is the microclimate of a city, the urban microclimate. Now what does the question say? it says which areas in the city experience the highest and lowest temperatures respectively. Which areas in the city experience the highest and lowest temperatures respectively. Now here we can see our temperatures here, and we can see that along our CBD, that's when we experience in our highest temperatures, and temperatures starts to decrease as we approach the rural urban fringe. So the CBD has the highest, the rural urban fringe has the lowest. Now, how do you define the term urban heat island? An urban heat island is when an urban area has higher temperatures surrounded by lower temperatures, most of the time that are the rural area, so it becomes an urban heat island. Can you state one difference between an urban heat island and a pollution dome? State one difference between an urban heat island and a pollution dome. Now, an urban heat island, I've already explained that it's when the urban area is experiencing higher temperatures than the surrounding rural areas. And usually, as a result of convection, the urban heat tends to extend vertically throughout the day. Like what I'm saying is the urban heat island extends vertically because of convection currents and continuously heating. You find that during the day, the urban heat island, it mushrooms during the day. And when it mushrooms during the day, what happens? Pollution disperses. So there's dispersing of the pollution in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Now, when it is night time, when the earth is cooling, you find that pollution, you find that at the night time, the cooler atmosphere subsides, pushing pollution particles downward, resulting in concentration of pollution. And let's say these are our what is it? Our urban area. The earth is cooling. When the earth is cooling, pollution subsides, resulting in concentration of pollution to closer to the surface, and this creates what we call a pollution dome, as you can see, as I have highlighted for you. So it means the heat island during the day has a greater vertical dimension, and then you find that at night we have more of a pollution dome developing on the near surfaces of our urban areas. Now, question 145. Can you discuss two factors evident in figure 1.4 that cause cities to record higher temperatures than the surrounding rural area? Why temperatures record higher temperatures is because urban areas record higher temperatures is because of artificial surfaces like the pavings that absorb more heat during the day. The buildings also increase surface area that absorb heat. The presence of industries also emitting a lot of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases, we know that they contribute to high temperatures because they absorb heat in the atmosphere, so it also increases temperature. And even our vehicles, they also emit a lot of exhaust fumes, which also heat up our urban areas. We also have fewer plants which assist in cooling processes like evapotranspiration, so you find that we have more heat in the urban area. Now, if you are an urban planner, can you describe how you would sustainably decrease the impact of heat islands? How would you sustainably decrease? Sustainability means that we have to maintain our environment. So how would you decrease the impact of urban heat island? Okay, so for you to make sure that our city, if you are going to be an urban planner, to make sure that the urban cities are sustainable, it means we have to reduce greenhouse gases in the atmosphere in our urban areas, and that can only be done by planting more trees. And when we talk about planting more trees, we talk about creation of the green belts, the park areas there, so as to reduce heat. We can also develop rooftop gardens, develop water bodies like ponds, fountains in the urban area to decrease temperatures, and also painting some of our surfaces and our buildings with lighter material or light paint, so as to reflect some of the heat and not to absorb. And also controlling the number of vehicles, either making use of public transport, and our industries need to restrict industrial activities as well. So we can implement legislature there, and also making sure that we do have filters in chimneys to trap pollutants so that we don't increase greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Question 1.5 now looks at the river system. Can you name a high ridge labeled A? A high ridge labeled A, and this high ridge labeled A, it means it's a ridge that is between streams within a drainage basin, so this one would be an interfluve. What purpose does the high ridge A serve, the interfluve? It separates water between two streams in the stream drainage pattern, as I have already alluded. Can you explain two natural factors that could influence the stream flow of a river system? Two natural factors that could influence the stream flow of a river system is that when we have high rainfall, it can lead to higher stream discharge. If we have low rainfall, it means that it will have low discharge or low stream flow. We can also talk about low permeability. Low permeability leads to higher stream discharge, and high permeability would lead to a lower discharge. Vegetation can also lower the discharge because there is more of infiltration and less of runoff. And if there is no vegetation, then it means the discharge would increase because water will be flowing. No infiltration will be taking place. Now, can you explain the formation of the delta at B? Explain the formation of the delta at B. The delta forms at B there because the river flows on level ground. And as the river is approaching the level of the gentler ground, the river loses energy and deposits some of its material, hence forming the delta that we can see there. Now state two advantages of farming at sea. Farming at sea here is an advantage. Why? Because one, we have fertile soils, we have water close by, and also as we are approaching the lower course of the river there, it is easy for us to grow crops because there is more gentler or flat ground.